we about 2 months ago, we launched a product that we publicly sourced and ordered and everything. This is it right here, bamboo marshmallow sticks, okay? And you can see we're now at the #1 spot of our main keyword, which is marshmallow sticks. So these two are actually sponsored ads. So that's pay-per-click. And then the third one here, this is the product that we publicly did the research for, sourced, and order. And you can follow along with all of that inside of our blog. Again, we'll probably post a link inside the chat as well, so you guys can check that out. But what I'm getting at this is the thing that everyone kept saying is they wanted more help with product research. And we understand why, because product research is so critical to your success on Amazon. If you choose an item that either doesn't have very much demand or it is too competitive, it's really difficult to ever get like either on the first page of results or make those first few sales, compete with all these other people and so forth. So we always get tons of questions, and the webinar we did where we did product research, that was our most popular, most viewed webinar. So we wanted to do something similar to that again. So what I'm going to do with you tonight is I am going to share the exact method that I use, and I always keep refining this, and it keeps changing over the months as kind of the marketplace changes, as the competition changes, as the product research tools kind of refine and so forth. So where I start at is inside of the Jungle Scout web app product database. And I'm just going to go back into this chat room, make sure just one more. All right. I'm just making sure that everything still looks good in here. All right. All right, I think everything is still working good, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed. It's kind of scary broadcasting to you. I normally have other people I'm talking to or I can see in the chat, so I guess tonight I'm terrified that I'm just like talking to myself. It's not working. No one can see anything, which would be terrible, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm going to keep on plugging along here. All right, so where I'm at right now is inside the Jungle Scout web app. All right, so as a lot of you know, Jungle Scout has multiple products. One is a Chrome extension that integrates into your Chrome browser, okay? The other is this web-based app, and that's what you see right here, all right? So right here, I'm in the web-based Jungle Scout web app, and what this is we've kind of rebuilt Amazon's catalog in such a way that is user-friendly for sellers to search through, all right? So the Amazon store, if we go back to it, this is great if you're a consumer looking for something to sell. If I'm a consumer, I'm looking for marshmallow sticks or yoga mats or garlic press or whatever. Amazon store is built in such a way that it's easy for consumers to find products and what's selling well. However, us as sellers, it's difficult for us to come up with product ideas, see what's selling well, see what there's enough demand for, what there's too much competition for, and so forth. So what we did at Jungle Scout is we re-indexed their catalog, rebuilt their catalog in a way that we could easily sort and filter through it to come up with product ideas, all right? So what we have here is we have a whole bunch of filters, all right? We have category filters. We have a whole bunch of numerical filters. We filter by size and so forth, and we can filter to come up with product ideas. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a test run here, a sample search. And what I might do is I might select a few categories that I'm interested in. So let's say like home and kitchen. I'm gonna do, let's say, like office products, patio, pet supplies. We'll select a few others, maybe beauty, arts and crafts. So I selected a few categories. I'll give you the price point that I'm interested in. So let's say $20 to $50. I think this is a good price range, or sometimes I even like to do minimum of $25. And the reason for this is if it's too expensive, it's usually like too much upfront capital. If it's too inexpensive, then what happens is there's just not enough margin left over for profit, right? If you're selling like a $12 item, it's very hard after Amazon takes the minimum of like $4 or $5 cut, and then you're purchasing your product and so forth. It's really hard to make any money when you're selling those lower price items. So these little bit higher priced items, leave enough margin for you to make some good profit. I'm going to search for a minimum sales of 300 a month. All right. So all these products that the database is going to show me are selling at least about 300 a month. I'm going to do max review count of 50. And that shows me that if the product's still selling, let's say at 300 a month, and there's with less than 50 reviews, it's probably not too like mature of a niche. So that's probably something that I can, fairly easily get into. And to start, let's just filter right there, just as an example. So what the database is doing is it's filtering through and it's finding all of the products that meet this specific criteria. All right. So then what I can do is I can kind of, scroll through these, look at them, and see if any of these products would be a good candidate to private label, right? So as I've looked through these, it looks like this is a leather portfolio. That'd probably be a good item. Something like paper, that's probably not a good private label item. And what I'm looking for here are items that are like easily manufactured in China. They're not easily breakable. They're relatively small and lightweight and so forth. So something like a thermometer, that would be pretty good. Let's see, what is this? Some wrap tape in a bunch of different colors. That might be good. I usually stay away from anything that goes like on or in your body, just because that's a little bit more of like a liability type thing. Something like this, that could easily be manufactured in China, a lighted bunny door hanger, and so forth. So I'm just going to add in one more piece of filter criteria here. And this is actually, let me just sort by this instead. So what this is the listing quality score, right? So what we've done is we've gone in and we've ranked all these listings on how good of a listing, like how well their listings set up. So we take a few things into account here. We take in how good the title is, how good the pictures are, the quantity and the quality of pictures, how long the bullets are, the little bullet points, and how many of them they have. How long the description is, how many keywords are in there, and so forth. So what you can see here is, like, for instance, these products don't even have an image on Amazon, yet are still selling, a few of these products, 500, 600, 400, and so on a month. So these are really good opportunities because this person with a pretty bad listing has still been able to sell well. Like this guy, he's selling like 600 a month. It only has 39 reviews and the listing's pretty bad. So let's just take a look at the listing. So as we, look at this listing, the pictures are pretty bad, right? It has one, this is okay, a decent picture, but it needs more of them. And the other one's just a logo. The bullet points are super short, right? Like an item number, that doesn't really tell me much. The item and model, made in the USA, that's helpful, but a really good listing will have long bullet points with lots of keywords and, really tell the reader a lot. And the product description is, 3 sentences long. So overall, not a very good listing, right? So I'll look at a few other, products here, and we'll try to just come up with some like product ideas tonight. Something like this. This is an Easter bunny, right? So right now this is selling like crazy, 700 a month with a pretty bad listing without many reviews and so forth. But usually this type of item, I'm usually going to stay away from because it's a seasonal type item, right? It's selling well right now because it is almost Easter and this is the type of decoration people are using and so forth. But the, I want something that's going to sell well all year long. So I'm going to kind of stay away from that. So I'm just going to keep looking through the database here. Let's see what else we have. Again, a lot with, without even a picture that are still selling pretty well. Let's see it. First I thought that was watercolors, but it looks like some kind of makeup. An ironing board, something like that would be easy to manufacture in China. And again, like look how bad this listing is, right? One picture, one bullet point. It has, again, like 2 sentences on the description. So this is the kind of thing that we could look into further, if we said ironing board. All right. So if we search for that, then we can look, how competitive is this niche, and, how well are some of these other products selling? So this is where I get into the next step of my product research, which is the Jungle Scout extension. So what you're looking at here, I know there's often confusion around this, so I'm kind of reiterate this a few times. What you're looking at here that's opened up inside of the Amazon store is the Jungle Scout extension, all right? And it's a Chrome add-on. This, what we were looking at before, this is the Jungle Scout web app, which has the product database and the product tracker. So after I come up with product ideas inside of the database, that's when I'm going to open them inside the Amazon store and see, how well these items are selling, what the competitors are like, and so forth. And what I see here, so I just searched for ironing board. I felt like that was probably the main keyword for that product. I'm seeing tons of demand, 1,500, 500, 1,000, 2,500, and so forth. However, most of these have lots of reviews, which signifies to me that it's a pretty competitive niche. All right. I like to see, like, in the top 5, 1 or 2 people with under 50 reviews, which, this guy did sneak up in the top 5. But in the top 10, I like to see, say, like 3, 4, or 5 people with under 50 or 100 reviews. And instead, I'm saying 800 reviews, 350, almost 1,000, 600, and so forth. So this type of product is something that is pretty competitive and pretty difficult to get into if you're a brand new seller. If I were to just start selling these today, it'd be pretty tough. I would likely be down here, at the very bottom of the page or on the second page, not up at these top spots where people are buying products. I'd probably be down here, with some of these guys that don't have as many reviews, 33, or, some of those are ranked bad and so forth. So let me just pop into the question box real quick, see what kind of questions we have, and let's see, make sure that, addressing everything and everything's going smoothly here. All right. So it looks like the general comments are that, and I think this is actually delayed a little bit. I think when you guys type your comments in the box here, it takes, say, like a minute for me to be able to see them. So, but it appears that, let's see, a few of the questions or comments I have in here that you need me to zoom in a little bit. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that. And then I can kind of reiterate what I said there as well. So go ahead and screen share again and pop back in here. So I'm going to zoom in a little. And with it zoomed in, let me go over what I said one more time. So that's probably too much. So hopefully you can see this a little bit better now. I know sometimes, especially in these live feeds, that it's a little bit blurry. So I'm going to try to say everything as audio as well as I can, as well as kind of zoom into some of these pictures. But this is one of the, a key takeaways, that in the estimated sales, I look for a particular niche or a keyword. Right now this is an ironing board that sells about 3,000 units in total. So what I mean by that, if I were to add up the estimated sales for all of the relevant products, so all of the ironing boards, which, looks like are most of these, if I had something in here like let's see if I can find something that's not an ironing board. Let's see, for instance, this is an ironing mat. This is an ironing board. So I'd usually X that out, and not count it. So I'm only adding up things that are actually ironing boards, right? So this particular niche, has a ton of demand. So it definitely meets the 3,000 per month criteria. However, remember, I also said the next thing I look at is the number of reviews. And this one's too competitive for me. In the top 5 spots, I like to see 1 or 2 people with under 50 or 100 reviews. In the top 10 spots, I like to see multiple people, like 4 or 5 people with under 50 or maximum 100 reviews. And that to me signifies that's like a market that I can get into as a new seller. So let's just look through some of these other ideas we came up with out of the product database. Let's see, what else were we looking at there? We had Let's take a look at this. A boar bristle brush. I'm trying to say that 3 times fast. Boar bristle brush. All right. So I'm going to go look at this particular item. And again, it looks like most of these are, the same style of item. So I'm going to open up the Jungle Scout extension. And as it loads, remember, I'm going to look at the first 2 things I'll look at are the number of sales and the number of reviews. So right away, remember I said 3,000 reviews if I add up the number of sales, which again, this easily meets that criteria. I can see just in the top 3 spots here that I get 3,000. The number of reviews, though, again, remember these top 5 spots, I'd like to see, let's see, top 5 are those. I would like to see 1 or 2 people with under 50 or maximum 100 reviews. I see 1 guy, but in the top 10, I'd like to see like 4 or 5 with under 50 or 100 reviews, which again, this is just too competitive of a particular niche. This one product that we started out was doing well without many reviews, but again, it's just too competitive. So let's keep looking a little bit here. And keep in mind, guys, I didn't want to, I could have come up with some product ideas ahead of time to show you like, oh, these are the best ones. But instead, I wanted to show you kind of like how my actual everyday product research goes. All right. So a lot of these items you'll find either don't have enough demand or too competitive or so forth. But I wanted to kind of like go through those with you to show you, what makes a good product and what makes a bad product, and actually, how a few hours or an hour or whatever product research actually goes. So here we could look at this particular item. So let's see. It says ultimate back support. I think another good name for this would be lumbar support. So I'm just going to try lumbar support. And again, we'll search for this. And by now, I think if I could hear all you guys on the call, if I say it with me now, I think, remember, I'm looking for 3,000 on the estimated sales. This is my rule of thumb. So easily nails that, right? And the number of reviews under, 1 or 2, under 50 or 100, yeah, I guess it meets that. But if we look at the top 10, again, this is pretty competitive, right? The top guy is 3,000. Even down there at the number at the 10th spot, it's like 250, 500, and so forth. So again, this is going to be another one that's too competitive. So let's actually do one thing here, which is I'm going to sort by the number of reviews now. And by doing this, I'm going to try to find some of the items that aren't very competitive. So I'm going to sort it the other way, which is low to high. So I'm going to go in and try to find some of these products that only have a few, say 3, 4, 5, or 0 reviews that are selling well. And hopefully these will be like less competitive, niches that I can get into. So again, I'm just looking through these. To be honest with you, I'm just looking over here at the pictures and just seeing if it looks like something that is easily manufactured in China. This kind of piques my interest, but I have no idea what these are. Oh, okay. It looks like icing nozzles. Let's see a chair, some seeds. Let's see an oil diffuser. I'm just looking through here to see if there's anything that kind of like piques my interest that I think would be a good product to sell. I like to look for smaller items. I think smaller items are better than larger items because they're less expensive to ship from China. The FBA fees are going to be less and so forth. It's a good sign to me if it's kind of like particularly weird, because usually those like a little bit weirder products are the less competitive products. It seems like everyone wants to sell like the really like cool, like sexy items, right? Like be able to tell their friends, say, hey, I sell like the latest CrossFit accessory or whatever, these like cool products. But to be honest with you, usually like these little bit like weirder products or things that, aren't as cool or aren't as sexy are usually ones that don't have quite as much competition. So let's, as I say that, let's click on this item. This would be, to me, a very like unsexy product to sell, right? Like you don't really brag to your friends and say, hey man, I just private labeled this file organizer rack. So to me that would meet that criteria. So let's see, I'm going to do the whole Amazon store. I'm going to search for file organizer rack. All right. And it looks like there's a few different styles. Maybe I should have done wall, but first let's just check this one. All right. And it just takes a few seconds to load. All right. So this is a pretty good example. The number of reviews, this is a good example of the number of reviews that like I look for. This is like a market that I'd be willing to get into because I'm confident that as a new seller, I could do like a small giveaway, seed it with a small initial amount of reviews and be able to compete pretty well. So if we were to count these up in the top 5 here, let's see, I definitely have 1 or 2 sellers with under 50 or 100. It looks like there's 3 of them. And if I look at the top 10, there's lots of sellers, even in the single digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sellers in the single digits, which is a really good sign to me. Let me refresh this. And then, the other thing I'm looking for, right, is the estimated sales. So I want to find a particular niche that has at least about 3,000 sales. So this guy, right, he's doing a lot better than everyone else. 4,000 a month, which is crazy. But if I look, that wasn't really the style that I was looking at, right? I was looking at like this wall rack. So let me actually X out of him so I don't count his sales. Let's see, that's a wall organizer. Again, this is the wire style. And this wire style, the price point's too low for me, right? Like $6.50. If we go over here and look at the net, after Amazon takes their fees, there is only $2.55 left for me. So that means I have to purchase the product and make a profit off $2.55, which even with wire racks, that probably only costs like $1 or $2. There's just not much money to be made there, right? Even if I was selling like 20 a day, maybe I'd make like 20 bucks in profit, which that doesn't excite me very much. So I'm going to X out of that one. Let's see. It looks like, okay, that's a wall one. I'm going to X out of that. And all right, looks like we have a few other wall ones. Not that one. So if I were to add these up, looks like we have about, let's see, about 700 there, 900, 1,000, about 1,500. Let's see this one down here. Yeah, I could probably count that. That's a type, right? Like a mesh style. So this one would probably just barely meet the 3,000 threshold, right? Let me actually click through this. I see on this one that it's not given a category. So let me see if, see this one right here doesn't have a parent category, right? So it only has 3 different subcategories. For whatever reason, on some products, Amazon doesn't like to give them parent categories, and therefore we can't determine the estimated sales. However, ranked pretty well in, these 3, we might be able to, oh, again, this is a wire one, so we wouldn't count it anyway. But this looks like a niche that probably barely scrapes by with my like 3,000 a month rule, right? It's not very competitive. So this is something that you could probably get into. The next thing that you can kind of do though, is you could take this a step further. So, we used the web app to come up with this idea, file holder. We kind of verified that, okay, it seems like there's quite a bit of, a fair amount of demand here without much competition. Well, let me take this one step further and see like which of these are selling really well. So I can either sort by sales, or let's actually do revenue, because I like these higher priced items. And then, what is it about this particular item that's making it sell quite a bit better than the rest? Or what is it about this one? This one may be that it has like a whole bunch of file, or a whole bunch of different kind of shelves. This one maybe because it's mesh. So we might even be able to take this one step further and do like mesh file organizer rack. And again, now it looks like we have Two different styles again, but that's probably okay. And then I could look at this particular like niche, right? So after kind of doing this for a few hours and kind of like going down the rabbit hole a little bit, like, okay, I never would have thought of a file organizer rack without the web app. And then, after I look at it, I never would have thought of a mesh file organizer rack. And I can kind of just keep going down that rabbit hole, right? So this has quite a bit more demand, right? Now we have, if we were to add all this up, we would probably get to like 10,000 units a month. However, this one's getting a little bit more competitive again. So let me just sort this by its like true layout. So I say that it's a little bit more competitive, but probably something that I could get into, right? So I'm sorry. Normally when I add up estimated sales, the way that I sort Jungle Scout is the way that it's laid out on the screen. So, I add up this product with this product and the next product. So if you sort by the default number over here, 1 through whatever, then that gives you the same, it is laid out in the same way that, a user would see. This is the same way that I added up. So, again, looks like it easily meets the 3,000 sales per month. And again, this isn't very competitive, right? This guy in number 4 spot, he doesn't even have any reviews yet. And he's selling 180 a month. Somehow this guy snuck in the number 1 spot. He's not selling many yet, but again, he only has 1 review. And the people that do have some, social proof, they're selling pretty well, right? Everyone with, 50 or more reviews is making 1,500 sales, 4,000, 500, and so forth. So this is kind of the first 2 steps in product research, right? I come up with product ideas out of the database because I'm not very creative. I never would have thought of these type of products. I never would have thought of wall rack or some of that stuff we were looking at before. Even lumbar support, board bristle brush, and so on. Then I take it to the Amazon store and I kind of verify that niche a little bit more so that I look at, okay, what's the demand like, how many reviews they have, and so forth. So right there, I'm going to take a quick break from the screen share. I'm going to hop in here to the chat, see what kind of questions you have or what else I haven't made very clear. All right, so I just see a few questions here. How reliable are the estimated sales? Let me just address this real quick. So as a lot of you probably know, Amazon doesn't release the number of sales that a particular product makes, right? So how we're able to do this is we estimate sales based off the sales rank. So most products, like let's say 90% of products in the Amazon store, have a sales rank in the parent category. So from this, we're able to estimate sales. What we do is we follow about like 100,000 products on a daily basis. We see how many sales that product makes and what its rank is that particular day. At the end of each month, we have a data scientist who runs a regression analysis on all this data in each category. And then from there, we release monthly sales algorithms. We update all of our products and we also release a table each month. The table is free if you guys want to get that. I'm sure Gen could probably put the link to that in the chat. And that's how we're able to estimate sales. So they're pretty accurate. They're accurate enough to do forecasting and product research type purposes. For instance, like Jungle Scout might estimate that a product sells like 650 units per month. In reality, the product might really sell like say 600 or 700 or somewhere in that range, but it's close enough to get a good general idea of how well it's selling. Because honestly, when you're doing product research, you don't need to know whether it sells like 550 or 553. You just need to know, okay, is this product selling like 100 or 500 or 1,000 or so on a month? So they're plenty accurate for that. Let me pop back in here and look at the questions. man, they're coming in pretty quick. Excuse me. So, all right. Just reading through a few of the questions. And I apologize for those of you trying to join us at the beginning. As you know, we had some technical difficulty. Usually, Gen and I are in the same chat room here, so Gen's helping me out, running the chat box and so on. Right now, I am trying to do it all myself. Read through a few of the questions and answer them here. I see a few of popular questions are how many products do I give away? Let's see. Let me actually answer that a little bit later in the webinar. A few of these other ones I think are more relevant to what we're talking about right now. What determines the ranking? The 90% of what determines the ranking is the sales velocity, okay? And it's different, though, in each parent category. So home and kitchen is different than sports and outdoors, is different than appliances, whatever. Each of these have a different amount of sales velocity in the Amazon store. And 90% or 95% or whatever, we've done a lot of testing on this, and essentially just sales velocity. How quickly a product's selling is what determines the sales rank. So it's a really good indicator of how many units a product's going to sell each month. Another popular question looks like is maybe some confusion about the extension and the web app. These are two totally different products. So again, like remember the product database that's inside a web-based product. It's like a standalone kind of software product, whereas keep in mind the extension installs into your Google Chrome browser, and it can run inside the Amazon store, right? So that's the difference with there. And I'll go over that again when we look at them. So yeah, so let me kind of take this one step further. So far I've kind of gone over my kind of like go-to product research type tips, right? And these are like the general rule of thumbs that I've always been using and so forth. But let me kind of transition now into like where Amazon's going. You know, the marketplace has matured since I got into it a few years ago. A lot of people I think are worried about, you know, increased competition. They see courses going on, for whatever reason. So let me kind of talk about how I think you can differentiate yourself to make it, a good long-term type model, and, to be able to withstand other competitors coming into the market and kind of like where the market's headed. So let me start by saying that I think a good long-term plan, and always will be, is to make some type of like small improvement on your item, no matter how small it might be. With our jungle sticks that we did, the two small improvements that we made were we added a few more per packaging. So the users got, our customers got 10% more. So we put 110 marshmallow sticks in each pack instead of only 100. We did like the longest length on Amazon, so that helped differentiate us a little bit. But let me go into kind of like some of the, those are some of the things we did. Let me just try to find some other just real life examples. I'm going to go through the product database with you. Let's just find some other real life examples together. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen. I'm back inside of the product database here. And how I go about finding these products to differentiate are that need small improvements is, I'm just gonna go ahead and select all the categories. Well, let me take a few out. Let me take out some of these electronic type items. I'll get rid of jewelry and watches also. I don't really like them. So let me again go to products that are selling like 300 a month or more. And let's see, are selling well, even though they have a maximum of, let's say, 3.5 stars. So I'm going to filter the database. And what this tells me is these are all products that are selling well, even though they're getting pretty bad reviews, right? It looks like there's 6,300 results that meet this, which is too many for me to filter through. So let me also add in some other criteria. I'm going to also say they have under, let's say, 50 reviews. Actually, let's do 100 to make sure there's enough reviews to know that they're really, kind of bad products. I'll go ahead and put in a price point here too, because we still need to. We're still at over 2,000. I'm trying to get this a little bit smaller. 477 results. That's fine. So now these would all be products that are selling well, even though they're not getting very good reviews, right? So, this product, it's ranked 3.5 stars, yet it's still selling over 400 a month. I'm going to sort this. Well, let's just look through these kind of. So what I'm looking for here are like simple type products, right? That I think would probably be like easy for me to make improvements to. So, and we'll just keep looking for some of these. Because what I was about to say there is really, this is a good example. Like, I'm not sure why this video camera is getting ranked bad, or rated bad, but chances are I can't improve it, right? That's just too complex for me. Instead, I'm looking for like simple items that I can make small improvements to. It's kind of funny. Okay, let's just for fun, let's see why these dividers that go into your notebook are getting ranked poorly. So I click on this item. Keep in mind, this item was selling about 400 or 500 per month, even though its average star reviews is 3.2. So I would go ahead and I would click on the reviews. All right, and let's see exactly why people are leaving bad reviews on this product and see if it's something that I can improve on. Let's see. Very lightweight, could have put holes in copy paper. All right. Very cheap, not durable, very flimsy, easily bent. Let's see what the 2 stars say. The tabs are too short and small. Very flimsy, very flimsy. So it looks like people don't like these because it's just too thin a paper, right? So to me, this is like an easy product that you can improve on. This is a very simple product, right? It's just 24 sets of 8 sheets of essentially, thick paper that are cut in this shape with holes in it. Like this could easily be manufactured from a Chinese factory, right? And it's selling for 25 bucks. I imagine I could probably get these made for a few dollars, right? And but instead I would improve. So I'd probably order this, see like what thickness paper these were on, and then ask the manufacturer, the factory who's going to make these for me, to do like, much more heavy duty. So this is something that, what's cool about this is big companies like Avery and so on, they used to spend tons of money, right? Like whatever, hundreds of thousands of dollars doing market research to see what the customers want, all this kind of crap. And us as just small time Amazon sellers can do this just by looking at product reviews on Amazon, right? Like just within 1 minute of reading through this, I found out why people don't like these particular dividers and how I could easily improve on them. So if I was like, okay, this is something I can easily improve, let me first check out though how good the market is. So let's see. I don't know exactly the best word for these. Let's try tab dividers. All right, and it looks like we landed on the right spot here. So I'm going to run the Jungle Scout extension. And it looks like there are plenty of sales, right? So again, I'm looking for 3,000. This easily meets it. All these people are selling 500, 1,000, 2,000, and so forth. Next column I'm looking at is the number of reviews. I see this guy in the number 4 spot, 56. Other than that, it looks pretty competitive. But below here, 7, 8, 9, 10 spot. Those all have under 100 reviews, right? Which is good. And they're still all selling well. So this is something I'd probably like look into a little bit further. I could probably like niche down a little bit further and see, like why some of these are selling better than others. One quick thing that we do need to keep in mind here is look at the price point on some of these though. Terribly low, right? We wouldn't want to mess with anything a couple bucks or whatever. But here we go. We see, this item that we were looking at, it's doing lots of sales. It's at a good price point that we like. So right away, we'd probably want to, this is the type of item that we want to bundle, right? He put 24 of these packs together, and that is something that isn't a price point that we'd want to look at. So that is one great way to kind of differentiate yourself. Let me go back and come back on screen here. Sorry with all this talking, my throat's getting dry. Coming up with small product differentiators like that, my dividers are a little bit thicker, or, maybe if I were to continue to read those, people would say like the tabs are difficult to write on because they're like plastic covered. So maybe I do a different finish on those so they're easier to write on or whatever. These are small changes that you can work with a factory on to make improvements. And, this isn't something like we're providing like a new set of like blueprints for this, right? We'd just say, hey, instead of using, 10 mil paper, use 20 mil paper, whatever the thicknesses were, and so forth. Another kind of trend in the market I'm seeing right now that's good if you want to kind of stay ahead of your competition, and I think it's a better like long-term plan, is some of these a little bit higher priced items you'll find are less competitive. The downside of this is it is going to require a little bit more capital to get into it, right? But these are the type of products that I'm seeing less competition in. So if we went back to the product database, I'll do one more screen share here with you. All right, back to the product database. Again, if I set the minimum price to say like $40, and again, went and used all the same type of criteria there. So instead of looking for something that as low as like $15 or $20, instead, if I'm looking at the minimum price of like $30, $35, $40, $50, you're going to find a lot of these products are not quite as competitive. So those are two ways that, you can really kind of differentiate yourself in the market and kind of like stay ahead of the competition. These aren't the products that, like everyone's going for, like they are the $1, $2, $3 type items, that sort of thing. So I'm going to pop in here and look at a few more of these questions, see what else I kind of wasn't clear on or what else you need help with, and that sort of thing. One question I see in here is about competing with Amazon, and I'll address this real quickly. What they're saying here is, sorry, let me do the share the screen, pop back over here. What they're asking about is competing against other listings where Amazon's selling the products, right? So this isn't the same thing as selling on the same listing as Amazon. Since we're private labeling these type items, we're coming up with new listings, right? So, like this would be us down here with this FBA listing, not all of these where Amazon's selling them. And some people, for whatever reason, I think it's a huge misconception, are scared about selling against Amazon. And I don't think there's any reason to do this. I've not seen anything to make me believe that Amazon likes to rank their own products than others. Because keep in mind, they're making good money whenever they make FBA FBA sales, just like they are when they're selling their own products, and maybe even more. So I'm not scared at all to sell against Amazon. The other two big bonuses of selling against Amazon is that they're not going to do product giveaways, to get reviews like you can. They don't do sponsored ads for their own products and so forth. So to be honest with you, I'd almost rather sell against Amazon than other FBA sellers. Let me see what other questions are in here. Good order quantity for a first order. So me personally, on all my first orders now, I order 1,000 products, 1,000 units. The reason for this is I used to order 500 units to start. However, if you do good product research, you get into a market that's not too competitive, and there is plenty of demand there. You'll usually find that you will sell out of your products before you can get more in. So for instance, if we do sell, about 300 a month and that's what I always shoot for. When you order and you send in 500 units, keep in mind the lead time at these factories is pretty long. Even if I'm shipping a product by air, if I were to order it today, typically it takes about like 45 days to get, from the factory, shipped, from China. Even this, we're talking about Air Express here, to my house and into Amazon. We're talking like 45, 50 days. So if you are selling 300 a month or about 10 a day, that means you're selling in 45 or 50 days, you're selling about 500 units. So I was finding I was always running out of stock. Even if I were to reorder my first day, getting my initial order in, a lot of times I'd still be running out of stock. So personally now, I always order 1,000. That being said, if this is your first product and you are kind of like not sold on the business model yet, or don't have a lot of capital to spend or so forth, there's nothing wrong with only ordering 100, 200, 300, 400 units to start. Just keep in mind that, if you kind of do it properly, you probably are going to run out of stock, which isn't the end of the world. It's just kind of frustrating because it's like, man, I could be making $50 or $100 a day or whatever in profit, but instead I'm sitting here without any inventory. So that's kind of tough. So let me see what other questions we have in here for me to address. All right, I said I was going to come back to this question, which is like, how many products do you give away to get started? And let me go to my marshmallow sticks. Let's see, sharing my screen with you, and here it is. If we go to my marshmallow sticks, and this is the same thing I'd recommend for everyone else as well. You start by giving away an initial quantity of, say, like 20 units. And we gave these away on Review Kick, which is our sister site. All right. And after giving away, I think for our first 20 giveaways, we're able to get 20 reviews. But that's not always the case. We're averaging, I think, like 93 or 94% review rate. So if you give away 100, you'll get 93 or 94 reviews. So let's see, I started with giving away like 20 units. After that, I turned on pay-per-click and just see kind of like where I was ranked at on the page. And I think after giving away 20 units, we were still on the second page, which we were making a few sales. We were making some sales because we had pay-per-click going, as you can see right here. But we weren't, making a ton of sales. After that, I think I gave away 20 more units over the course of like a week. So just a few a day, like 3, 4 a day over the course of a week. So I think that was 20 more units. Then we were able to, I think, get on the first page towards the bottom. So we were somewhere down here after I'd given away, at that point, I think it was a total of like 40 units. Out of that, we got something like 38 reviews. And that gave me enough social proof that we're starting to make more organic sales. And we were ranking better because in Amazon's algorithm, we're making more sales, even though some of those were, promotional sales. Then just a few weeks ago, we did one last push. We gave away, I think total now we've given away like 72 or 74 units. And as you can see, now we have 70 reviews. I think there's still a few people that haven't left reviews yet. And I think we have 2 or 3 organic reviews, but, that was enough to, if you search for marshmallow sticks, we are the top result now, which is pretty cool. And we're selling, I think, about like 16 or 18 a day, kind of on average. So that is, that's kind of the same methodology that I'd recommend most people do. You start by just giving away, maybe like 20 units to start. You see how that works for you. You know, if that pushes you up really nicely right where you want to be, then, you know, I'd stop giving away units. If you're still like on the second page, I recommend do another small push and so forth. But you can always try giving away a few more units to see, you know, how much higher you can get ranked naturally, because, you know, once you're now at the top spot for a search term or the top few spots, then you're making a whole bunch of sales organically. And even though you lost a little bit of money by giving away stuff at a huge discount, you make up on that by, you know, the increased volume you're selling. One last, you know, little thing that I can touch on is, you know, inside, one thing that I kind of didn't really cover, if I was pretty certain I'd want to go after one of these product ideas, whether it's, let's see, like we had envelope holders, we had, that's that one type of knife, a few different weird things. One last thing that I'm going to do before I actually purchase this item is I'm going to track some of these items in our product tracker. And what this does is on a daily basis, it keeps track of the rank and how many sales it had. So this is with our item, you know, the jungle sticks, but you can do it with all your competitors' items as well. So, you know, before ordering these, I put a whole bunch of marshmallow sticks in here. I tracked them over the course of a few weeks, and I saw like, okay, you know, this guy's sales weren't just spiked due to a giveaway or something. He really is selling quite a few each day, right? If I go back and I look at this over the course of a few weeks, I see, you know, every day he's selling 26, 30, 31, 17, 20, 33, 40, and so forth. And, you know, there's ranks staying really well. It's between like 400 and 1,000, which is a really good sales rank. So this is something that I would do to like track it for a few weeks before actually purchasing it. So yeah, again, if we look at our marshmallow sticks, yesterday was really good. We did 27, 11, 20, 14, 15, 15, and so on. So let me see what other kind of questions we have here in the box that I still need to get to. This question is, how do you validate that a product will sell with a small test order, since you can't really request product improvements on a small initial sample order? On, you know, what I like to think of as a sample order, like I'll order 1 or 2 or 3 products just to get started as a sample. And those units I don't resell on Amazon. I'm just checking for quality. Then for my like first initial order, even if you want to start with something smaller, you'd want to order at least, you know, like I said, I ordered 1,000 for my initial order, but you know, you want to order at least a few hundred so you can be doing some giveaways and start making some good sales. With that order of 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever, you should be able to, if you want to make some small improvements, you should be able to do it with that. So hopefully that answers that question. See, how much does it take to launch, say, a $20 product? If a product sells for $20, you're probably going to be landing this product, which means, you know, ship from China to your house and into Amazon for, let's say, like $6 or $7. So if you start out with, let's say, a 500 unit order, it's going to cost you about $3,500. So, you know, it is fairly cash intensive. That's why I was saying, like, you know, if you don't have quite as much cash, or you just want to kind of like prove this opportunity to yourself or whatever, you could start with 100 units, which then would be what, like $600. But like we talked about, you're probably going to, you know, run out of stock with those. Let's see what other kind of questions we have in here. All right. They're coming in quick. All right. Here's a pretty good question by Samuel. Do you do like 5 giveaways per day or just 20 hit? For my initial giveaway, I think when I give away like 20 units, I gave away all those within like a day or two. But after that, some of my later giveaways, I would do like 5 a day for over the course of a few days. Let's see. Just looking through some of these other questions. See if there's anything else. Leah asked the best way to use the product tracker. I can touch on that real quick. I, again, will share my screen with you. And now I'm looking at product tracker. The best way to use it is, again, let's go back. Well, I guess we can use this as an example. Before I order these marshmallow sticks and before I'd recommend you order a product, I track some of these items. So, a real easy way to add them to your product tracker is you can click this little plus button over here. But, even if you don't have the Jungle Scout Pro extension, you can just click on these items, copy and paste this link into here, and it's going to add these products into my tracker. So I then have this product, and I can track this item in real time on how many units they're selling on a daily basis, right? So, this product's doing pretty well. Was for a few days at least. So I do this to make sure that the rank and therefore estimated sales isn't artificially inflated due to a giveaway. So, for instance, some people to launch a product would just give away, let's say, like, 100 units. So within like 2 days, you meant like 50 today, 50 tomorrow. That is going to boost their rank. And when I say rank, I'm talking about the best sellers rank right here. So if I were to give away 50 products today, 50 products tomorrow, my rank would probably drop all the way down to say like 300 or 500, which would make, me believe, and Jungle Scout, the extension, believe that this product's really selling 50 a day, which isn't the case, right? They just ran a promotion. So by tracking an item, I can keep an eye on it for a few weeks, as I'm like negotiating with suppliers and so forth, and make sure that it truly is, kind of like consistently making sales. So, this product looks like consistently selling, maybe like 10 a day, whereas like this day right here, there's probably a good chance he did a giveaway, right? He went from, like 80 sales in a single day. So the other way I like to use it is just, to look at my own products. It's, it's nice to just log in each morning, log into my Jungle Scout web app, look at my products and say like, oh, okay, cool. Yesterday was a good day for me, 27. The day before was 11. Because for those of you who are already selling, that Amazon Seller Central dashboard isn't very good. It doesn't really even break down like per product with a nice graph. So that's the other way that I use it. All right. Maybe a couple more questions here. As far as PPC, it looks like that is a popular question in here. I need to fine tune this a lot more than I do, to be honest with you. I don't spend much time on it. I could spend more time on it and probably do a little bit better. But to be honest with you, I just set up like 2 initial campaigns, a manual campaign and an automatic campaign. And then I just let those ride out for like 2 weeks, collect as much information as I could. And then from that, I was able to put some new words into the a manual campaign based off what was doing well in the automatic. And I was able to pause some of the words that weren't performing very well. The PPC inside Amazon has improved just in the past like couple months. They've released some new features where you can do kind of some more powerful stuff. Personally, I'm not taking full advantage of that like I should, but for the most part, I kind of like set it and forget it after the first couple of weeks. I optimize it for the first few weeks. And then after that, I just more so set it on autopilot. I think my budget is like $20 a day now, but I don't think I even ever spend that just because there's not enough search traffic and marshmallow sticks to be able to use all that up. So we wrote a blog post about it, but I think we're only spending like $10 a day in pay-per-click. What do you think about the garlic press market depth? We can check it out. Let's do it. Share my screen with you real quick. So if I go here, search for garlic press, click on my extension. And I think some people are joking around with us when they say this. This is a popular example. My friend Scott Volker uses. As far as depth of market, I think it's awesome. What I mean, or what other people mean usually when they say like depth of market, and this is actually an important thing that I should touch on, is are all the sales being made by, say, like the top two sellers, or is there a good depth, as in, if I was ranked like number 10 on the page or 15 or 20, would I still be making quite a few sales? And for this product, it's obvious, this is a super high demand, very competitive, but, there isn't just one or two sellers making all the sales. There's a lot of people selling a lot of products with this. So that's my answer on that. And I think we got time for one or two more questions here. All right. Anthony wants another video on choosing a supplier. Great info. Awesome. So let's see. Kind of one last one I have here is about growing, or I guess probably improving your rank. Just to be clear, there's kind of like two different types of rank. One would be like my page rank. If I were to search marshmallow sticks, where I was at there. Ways to improve that, just to go over some of the highlights, is A, make more sales. The more products you're selling, usually the higher Amazon ranks you, because it means that product's good and in demand. You want to include all of the important keywords in your listing. You can get additional sales from doing pay-per-click. That's going to help you improve your rank. Also, keyword relevancy is important. If someone's searching for marshmallow sticks, then goes on to buy my product, that's going to tell Amazon's algorithm that, okay, it's good to rank this particular item well for this keyword, because that's what's making sales. So those are a few of the ways to improve like your page rank. As far as improving your BSR, your best sellers rank, like we said before, that's like pretty much solely based on the your sales volume. So making more sales is the good way to do that. So go ahead and kind of start to wrap things up here. I appreciate all of you guys joining us. I'm terribly sorry about the technical difficulties. We've done like a few dozen of these webinars now, and knock on wood, we've had such good success up until now without any technical difficulties, but I guess that's just bound to happen eventually. Gen and I were on like 20 minutes early. We were like, for 20 minutes is bad. We were kind of like a little panicked about, where do we go from here and so forth. But I'm glad we're able to find this Hangouts on Air thing. Hopefully you guys were able to find good value in this, and I appreciate you joining us. If you want to find out more, we post a lot of good information on our blog, junglescout.com/blog. In there, we always post, like our latest tips and tricks and hacks. We post, like real life updates from our case study, which is really cool. What's working for us, what's not. I think Gen right now is working on a blog post on like all the specific things we did to get to that #1 rank for marshmallow sticks, which is, which will be really valuable and so forth. If you haven't already, or if you don't already have any of the Jungle Scout tools, you can get a free trial of the web app on our website. So feel free to go in there, look in the product database to come up with some product ideas. It's free for 7 days. If you find your product before then, you can just cancel it, get it for free. And yeah, let me just look in here and make sure there's nothing else that I am missing before we log off. And I think we pretty much covered it. So thanks again for joining us, guys. I honestly don't know if this will be recorded. I don't know if Hangouts on Air automatically does that or not. So I'm glad you guys joined us live. Looks like everyone else might miss out. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any like more questions or comments, probably the best place to reach myself or Gen, who's really knowledgeable, would be in the comments of our blog or in our Facebook group, which is called the FBA Competitive Edge on Facebook. I frequent in there, and there's a whole bunch of really smart people in there to help us out. So yeah, hope to hear from you guys more soon, talk to you more, and take care. Bye.